Southern Leyte is, at the time I'm writing this, my favorite province in the Philippines for travel. To call it underrated would be a massive understatement. Overlooked by most everyone, this area has so ridiculously much to offer anyone wanting to explore it. In 2019, I lived in Bontoc near Sogod for 2 months, just going out to explore and find new spots. Today, I'm gonna break down everything I managed to see, how to get there, the best areas to stay in, and much more. This is the We Wonder Southern Leyte Travel Guide. Right off the bat, I want to make sure you know that even though this video is going to be long and show you enough places to visit to last you a good month, there's still a lot more to see and do in Southern Leyte. This will just scratch the surface. So if you have time, I highly recommend for you to explore even deeper. This is an area that will not fail to surprise you. Also, you need to know I will mention a few things that are actually in Leyte, not Southern Leyte. This is because they're at the very bottom tip of Leyte, so if you're doing a Southern Leyte trip, you might as well visit these spots as well. Don't worry, I won't go any further up than Inopacan for this guide. Note that there are a lot of smaller islands to visit around Southern Leyte as well. For this video, however, I will only be focusing on the main island of Southern Leyte and Limasawa Island, as sadly we were not able to visit the other islands on our trip. But I still want to help you out, so here's a list of all the other islands so you can look into them yourself. Cuatro Islas in Inopacan, Leyte, Caningag Island in Matalom, Leyte, and San Pedro and San Pablo Islands in Hinunangan, Southern Leyte. To get to Southern Leyte, I recommend you go from Cebu City, or if you're coming from somewhere like Siargao, you can also come up from Surigao City. From Cebu City, head to Pier 4 to go to Hilongos, Leyte, or to Pier 3 for Bato. Both cost about the same, around 400 pesos, and both towns are right next to each other once you land. The journey itself will take about 5 hours, so get comfortable. The ship will land on the west side of the island. You still aren't in Southern Leyte, as this area is technically part of Leyte, but either way, it's so close and there are beautiful things to see and do in this area as well. Leyte and Southern Leyte are not set up for tourism the way Cebu, Bohol, and other islands you may have visited before are. Transportation is going to be a little bit harder here. The best way to see this island is without a doubt to have your own motorbike or car. The problem is, as far as we could tell, there's nowhere in Southern Leyte to rent a motorbike. If this is wrong, someone please correct us in the comments so we can help people coming to this island. If you don't have your own transportation, you'll have to take buses and hobble-hobbles to get around. This can absolutely be done, but just know it's gonna take longer and cost quite a bit more. Please don't let that scare you away. Just expect that your trip here will really be an adventure. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about what to do and see. I'm going to show you what I believe is the best path to take to maximize your time and money. Note that all of these places can be seen much deeper in my older videos. All are linked below so that you can look more deeply into any spot that interests you. As for hotels, we were living there at the time, so I will tell you what hotels I can, but just search online within the towns I tell you to. I've selected the towns I think make the best home base for jumping off and visiting spots. If you can't find anything online, just show up. I promise there are hotels, or in some cases even resorts, that don't show up online. You will have a place to stay. Book your first hotel in Bato or Hilongos for 2 or 3 nights depending on when your ferry arrives. You'll need 2 full days of exploring. Head up north about an hour to Hindang Cave and Wild Monkeys. Here you can meet and feed monkeys. Wild monkeys who might steal your wallet, so watch out. However, this place also offers an extremely impressive system of caves with multiple large caverns to explore. You can easily spend a lot of time exploring here. If you still have energy in you, then head to Tangkaan Falls and Gunhuban Falls. Gunhuban Falls is the best. There's even a second waterfall here if you follow the river just a tiny way back. Just don't fall in. For the next day, go south from Bato to Matalom. You're looking for Mahayahay Falls. You'll need to ask the locals for direction. Just keep asking locals all the way there. Eventually, you'll pull up alongside a river. You'll need someone to guide you back to the falls. All this trouble is worth it to find this magical 2-drop waterfall hidden back in the forest. This This is one of the most beautiful waterfalls I've seen. You can swim around in the pool below the fall, but you can also climb up the right side of the waterfall to get to the second level where there's another pool. Once you're done here, it's time to actually head into southern Leyte. Head south to Maasin City. This is the capital of southern Leyte and actually where the current president of the Philippines was born. Get a hotel in this area for at least 2 nights. This is one of the only places in southern Leyte that you can actually get Jollibee, as well as the Maasin Cathedral is absolutely worth looking at. As for the first day trip from the city, head directly north to Monte Cueva. After a long and possibly difficult climb up what feels like an endless staircase, you'll arrive at a church built inside a cave. Even if you're not religious, this place is still pretty unique and worth stopping at on the way to our next stop. Head north from there to the Maasin Forest Park. Once you get inside and you're circling around, be sure to watch the tree line to find one of the most gorgeous views of the mountains and valley below. The other thing people do here is visit the Maasin Zoo. Note that this zoo is small. Some of the cages are small. Some people will not like this zoo for how it's set up, but we personally had a great time there. It's up to you if it's something you want to see. With your last day in Maasin, track down Barangay Cagnituan, park at the basketball court, and ask at the barangay hall which way to go to the falls and cave. After a beautiful walk through the forest, you'll come onto the gorgeous Cagnituan Falls with a nice deep pool for jumping and swimming. This spot alone is worth coming here, but this place holds another secret. If you go past the waterfall and continue just a bit deeper in, you'll be met with the gaping mouth of Guinsohotan Cave. This spot is amazing, even if you just want to get pictures. But if you get a guide from the barangay hall or just have a flashlight, you can explore it yourself. Be warned, you will have to swim in this cave as most of it's flooded. I really recommend you ask about a guide and explore this place. Next up, head to Padre Burgos. This area actually has a few resorts along the ocean. You will once again want to stay at least 2 nights here. One resort we only visited but really enjoyed is Kuting Reef. This is actually in Macrohon, but it's right next to Padre Burgos. It's worth visiting here whether you actually stay the night or not. My favorite spot in Padre Burgos is absolutely Tangkaan Beach. Gorgeous blue water and amazing snorkeling. Southern Leyte is absolutely one of the best areas in the Philippines, if not the world, for snorkeling and diving. Right next to Burgos in Macrohon, spend a day going to Cambaro Caves and Molopolo Santa Cruz Marine Sanctuary. In Cambaro, the actual cave you'll visit is called Tabunan Cave. Full of life and so much beauty, this cave is without any doubt one of the most beautiful caves I've ever been inside. Just go to Cambaro Barangay Hall and set everything up. Molopolo Santa Cruz Marine Sanctuary is back on the main road. It didn't seem like you could actually swim there, but for a small fee you can walk out on the very nice boardwalk where you can spot a ton of fish and birds. The last thing to do from Burgos is to head to Limasawa Island, one of my favorite places in all of southern Leyte. Just head to the Padre Burgos Pier the morning you want to go to Limasawa. I cannot remember the price, but I know it's less than 100 pesos, and it'll take less than an hour to arrive. Limasawa Island is an absolutely breathtaking place. Not only is it beautiful, but it's also significant to the Philippines as being the first place the Spanish ever raised a cross in the Philippines, a site that can still be visited today, 500 years later. I recommend staying only 1 night on the island, unless you feel like you want more time. We stayed at the Island Lagoon Resort. The rooms are extremely basic, but watching the sun set and rise was absolutely breathtaking from here. Even if you don't stay there for the night, the Island Lagoon Resort is a must visit on Limasawa. The other spots to visit include the First Cross itself, which even if you aren't religious, you need to visit because of what else the area offers. Walk just past the cross and you'll find yourself in a gorgeous field at the highest point of the island. From here you can see Leyte, Panaon, Mindanao, Bohol, and Camigan Islands all in one spot. Finally, no trip to Limasawa is complete without visiting Dak Beach Resort. This long stretch of beach feels like what Boracay probably looked like over 100 years ago. The most gorgeous white sand and blue waters with no one else there. I mean, really, no one. We had all of this to ourselves for hours. Once you're finished, take the ferry back to the mainland and head north, all the way up to Sogod. Here, I know there's a GV hotel. Stay in Sogod for at least 3 nights. Do you enjoy finding things that almost no other tourist even knows exist? I introduce to you Lum-an Falls. From Sogod, drive to Bonto, the next town over, and follow the road up into the mountains until you reach Barangay Ta. Ask around this barangay for someone to guide you to Lum-an Falls. Don't try to go there on your own. You will not be able to. Eventually, you'll arrive at Barangay Lum-an, a barangay completely cut off in the mountains with no roads going in or out. This barangay alone is very interesting to see. A bit past the barangay is Lum-an Falls itself. The falls are beautiful, but to be honest, this one's a bit more about the adventure. If you go at the right time, a second drop will form in the waterfall. Oh, and expect the kids from Lum-an to go all the way back with you. They told us that their teacher teaches them that if Lum-an gets any visitors, they should go back with them to make sure they make it safely. If you drive north of Sogod, you'll eventually come to Agas-Agas Bridge, the tallest bridge in not just Leyte, but all of the Philippines. Go here for sunset. You'll be left awestruck. The way the sun falls perfectly between the mountains is like something from another world. If you want something a little less adventurous, check out Gerona's La Caridad and Bindicar Farms, located right next to each other. One has a lot of really cool animals to interact with, while the other has a fake volcano that blows smoke. So, you know about Kawasan canyoneering. Maybe you've even done it yourself. But are you ready to take that to the next level? Welcome to Uwan-Uwanan Gorge, located in the next town over from Sogod called Libagon. You'll trek back in the jungle, eventually coming to an incredibly beautiful gorge. Instead of jumping down, you'll make your way up multiple waterfalls by climbing up through them on long ropes that have been hung. Eventually, you'll arrive at the absolutely stunning Uwan-Uwanan Falls. This is by far one of the best things you can do in all of southern Leyte. On the way back, you'll also have the opportunity to jump down instead of climbing back down. But be warned, these jumps are very big and into narrow, small pools. Honestly, we couldn't get ourselves to jump. I do need to warn that you need to be in decent physical shape. There's no help when climbing up or down the ropes. If you get stuck on one, it could be very dangerous for you. So do this at your own risk. To get there, go to the barangay hall for Barangay Kawayan in Libagon, and they'll set you up with a guide. After that insane adrenaline pumping adventure, I recommend you calm down and relax at Balsa Cafe, located in Barangay Bugasong, Libagon. This extremely picturesque cafe, located in the middle of the rice fields, is such a peaceful way to spend an hour or so. The view of the mountains combined with the honestly great food is well worth your time. We went there multiple times ourselves. Finally, it's time to move on to, personally, my favorite area in southern Leyte, the area around Liloan. Liloan is actually located on a different island known as Panaon Island, but is connected to the rest of southern Leyte by a bridge. Personally, I would stay in Liloan for at least 3, maybe 4 days. There's a lot to see in this area. The first of which is actually the bridge you cross coming to Panaon Island itself, known as Wawa Bridge or Liloan Bridge. The view from here over the Panaon Strait is out of this world. Check out Molopolo White Beach. As the name suggests, this is a very nice stretch of white sand beach. The beach is very beautiful, but we didn't see much as far as snorkeling, so if you're into beach bumming, then it's perfect. As for the beach in this area that I recommend the most of any, you have to check out Bitoon Beach Resort. I personally recommend you walk all the way down to the far end of the beach, past some rocks, to where there's another small beach. The corals here are out of this world. On top of that, there's so much marine life to be seen. If you're just not into snorkeling, this is still one of the most beautiful areas I've ever seen. Very close by Bitoon Beach is Tagbak Marine Sanctuary. This is a small cottage over what's said to be an amazing snorkeling spot about 10 minutes away from the mainland. We didn't actually get to go there because I crashed my drone as we were waiting for someone to show up to talk to them about it. When you rent a cottage, you really rent the whole marine park for yourself. Only one group is allowed at a time. I'll leave a link in the description of this video so you can set it all up beforehand. Head up north to St. Bernard and ask about how to get to Guinsaugon. Just follow people's directions until you find the sign that says Guinsaugon Eco Adventure Park. Where you'll be standing is the site of a major tragedy in what is essentially essentially a mass grave for thousands of people. In 2006, after days of storms hit the area, a massive landslide wiped out the entire barangay of Guinsaugon in just a matter of minutes. You can still clearly see the scar left on the mountain. This area is not a tourist destination, but I still think it's worth seeing. Walk back at least to the site of the graves and talk to the people living there. Most all of them are survivors of the tragedy. If you can get their story, it's very eye-opening to hear. You can also walk much deeper in, following a path back to find a river. Follow it to Guinsaugon Lake. This lake used to be a rice field and only formed after the landslide. It's a stunning reminder that beauty can come from something so tragic. Still staying in Liloan, now it's time to explore Panaon Island itself. Our first stop is Napantao Marine Sanctuary. The best way to find this is to use Google Maps to track down Napantao Elementary School in San Francisco. From there, you can follow the road all the way down to the ocean. Ask the locals to point the way. When you reach the ocean, you'll see a building on your left, which is technically Napantao Marine Sanctuary. This, however, is private property, but we were told by one of the guys there that if you walk over to the beach on your right from when you first arrive, you can snorkel there for free, and it's just as beautiful. You'll likely have this beach all to yourself. It looks to be abandoned, with cottages you can use for free. The marine life here is like a wonderland. Endlessly beautiful corals to see, and so many fish. You can easily spend all day there and not see everything. The next stop is Danao Twin Falls. Go to Barangay Danao in Pintuyan. Right next to the primary school is a bridge. Once you cross over that bridge, you need to jump over the little barrier on the road and follow the river until you find the falls. I really recommend you just watch my video about this place in the description, as I show you what to do in better detail. You'll find what looks like a small resort or something back there when you arrive. Just ask the guy staying there which way the falls are. Both are beautiful, untouched forest waterfalls, great for taking pictures and relaxing. After this, take the main road further south and look for a sign pointing to Barangay Buena Vista. Ask which way to get to Mount Caningag. This peak is also often referred to as Little Batanes of Southern Leyte. Wandering around and exploring this area will make you feel like you transported to the northern island of Batanes. Before I tell you to leave Liloan, I want to let you know you can see whale sharks in this area. We didn't do this, but I know without a doubt that you can hire a tour to see them from somewhere on this island. I only have a few more things for you to see. If you want, you can stay in Liloan and just drive to each spot, but they are a bit further away. You can also find a hotel in either Anahawan or Hinunangan to be a bit closer. First, in San Juan, head to the municipal hall and ask them about visiting Mount Cabalian. They'll tell you that to do this, you need to set it up early and leave at like 4 a.m. But this isn't true. It does not take as long as they say. Just tell them you want to do it that day. That being said, I'm sure it is better if you go earlier like they recommend, because there'll be more fog when you arrive. The goal here is to get to the top of Mount Cabalian, the only active volcano in southern Leyte. Once on top, you'll find a stunning turquoise lake known as Lake Danao. The water is fresh and safe to swim in as well. I recommend this over pretty much everything else I've talked about in this video so far. Not far from there is Anahawan Hot Spring, or Mainit Hot Spring. When we went, the place had actually been closed down, but you can still get back there and enjoy the spring if you ask locals to point you where to go. Once in Hinunangan, start by visiting Pungkai Mountain Park. There are multiple peaks here, as well as areas set up for getting awesome Instagram shots. From on top of the peaks, you can see the twin islands of San Pedro and San Pablo. The last thing I have for you to do is to go to Barangay Calag-Itan and Hinunangan and ask the people to point you to the Calag-Itan Fish Sanctuary. You absolutely have to snorkel here. I've never seen this many fish in one spot before or since. Once you're done snorkeling, however, continue down the beach further. You'll come onto what looks like an abandoned building. In front of it is a small rock pool. Even further down, you'll find a small cliff area overlooking the ocean, with a view that I don't even have words to describe. Sadly, that's all the spots I have for you. You can also head up further north to the area known as Silago. I know there's a lot worth seeing and doing there as well. We just sadly had to leave before we could explore it. Don't forget, I put links to all my videos in the description about each spot I talked about in this guide. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll try to help you as best as I can. Keep wondering.